Hey everyone, Knowledge here with Reach Your Summit. It's about 16 degrees out here right now, so we'll see how this goes, but I'm really excited to share this video with all of you. And in this one, I'm going to give you all a first look at the much anticipated and recently released Altra Lone Peak 7. Alright everyone, thanks for joining me. I was completely surprised to see this shoe be released so soon. I think on this channel it's been less than 12 months since I did a first look at the Lone Peak 6 and also a follow-up video once I got a lot of mileage with the shoe, sitting at around 650 miles now with the Lone Peak 6. And for those of you that follow this channel or scroll through the history on this channel, you'll see that I've been wearing the Lone Peaks now for several years and I've been very happy with them. The Lone Peak is a shoe that works really well for me and it has become one of my favorites for the trail, whether I'm doing short backpacking trips or through hikes. With that said, this video is also going to be a first look. I only have about 15 miles in the shoe so far. So with this first look, I'm going to share with you all of the updates, what has changed, what has remained the same, and my general first impressions with the 15 miles that I have on the shoe so far. As I get a lot more mileage in with this shoe, I am certainly going to put another video up on this channel going over how the shoe has held up and how the performance has been throughout all of that mileage. So with the Lone Peak 7, the cost has gone up compared to the previous versions. The Lone Peak 6 was $140. The Lone Peak 7 is now $150. It still has the balanced cushion or the zero drop, and it still retains the anatomically correct foot shape, very spacious toe box, and the 25 millimeter stack height. I've found the fit to be pretty true to size. So I wear a men's size 11 with the Lone Peaks, with the Olympus, with the Mont Blanc, and I was still able to find the size 11 with the Lone Peak 7 to be a very comfortable fit. So this is the men's size 11. I went with the regular width, though there is a wide width available for this specific colorway. I went with the navy color, and the total weight on my scale for the pair of the men's size 11 is 22.7 ounces. All right, so what's changed with this shoe? There are definitely some noticeable updates to the Lone Peak 7, and the first is with the whole upper. Upper is now stitchless. It's all streamlined, all one solid fabric. This I've found has given the shoe a lot more flexibility. It's also made the shoe a little softer feeling, and the breathability has been great so far too. And another thing with the upper is right along the side of the foot, there's a little bit of a mesh screen. This is to also help with the breathability, and I'm hoping that it helps with the quick dry time. I have not had these out in heavy downpours yet like I have with the previous versions, so only time will tell with how well the drying process is with the shoe and how well it drains and ventilates in humid, warm, and wet conditions. Another noticeable update in the upper is that the lace adjustment that the Lone Peak 6 had has been removed from the Lone Peak 7. So for a higher volume foot, that could cause an issue, though I did not notice it for myself. I've always found the Lone Peak to be a great fit. Along with the whole entire upper being changed, the Lone Peak 7 now does not have any drain holes like the previous versions do. Instead, there's a toe guard that has been welded into the front, and I actually find this to look and feel very similar to the Altra Superior 5s. Those shoes have held up really well for me, so I'm looking forward to seeing how this ends up comparing to that shoe. The toe guard is going to be nice because it will offer a little bit more protection than the previous versions of the shoe. I was also really surprised to see the stitching removed from the front of the shoe and the toe cap. That's something that Altra introduced with the Lone Peak 5, and they kept it for the Lone Peak 6, and I found that it helped quite a bit. That said, I also did not experience any toe cap peeling with most of my Lone Peaks over the years. The one pair that I did was a pair of Lone Peak 4s, and it happened around 125 miles, but I just super glued it, and it ended up lasting me 624 miles total with that pair of shoes before I ended up needing to replace them. There's also a really heavy-duty, thick plastic heel cup that has been introduced to the shoe. So far, I've found this to improve the stability of the shoe. It's not as sloppy as the previous versions of the shoe, although I kind of liked that. I liked having that freedom of movement. I still found that I was very secure in the previous versions of the Lone Peak, but this is a noticeable update for me, and I look forward to seeing how this holds up over time, if there's any changes, or if there ends up being any discomfort down the line. Along with the whole change in the upper, the outsole has also been updated a little bit. So beefier lugs, also really nice developed tread pattern at the toe off, and a similar tread pattern down at the heel to help with braking on steep descents. I'm enjoying this improvement so far, and I look forward to seeing how it ends up holding up over time. The shoe is still using the Max Track outsole, but the compound has been updated a little bit. It's a little bit tackier, a little grippier, so traction has been improved. I found it to shed mud really well, and it's gripped decently on the wet terrain that I've used it on so far. Despite the improvements, it is still very difficult to compare the outsole of a great all-around shoe like this to something like a Vibram outsole that you'll find on the Olympus or the Mont Blancs. Still a noticeable improvement, something that I've been enjoying so far, and I look forward to seeing how well it holds up over time. The inner of the shoe feels a little bit more rough to me, not as soft as the Lone Peak 6. Almost more everyday sneaker lifestyle like. Another change is they went back to the heel pull tab that you had with shoes like the Lone Peak 5, 4.5, and 4, and so on, and I was really happy to see that. I didn't really care for the heel pull tab on the Lone Peak 6, though that was just a minor gripe of mine. So what has remained the same? Altra still has the Velcro tab on the back, which I was really happy to see, and in the front of the shoe, the laces also have that integrated spot for the clip with your Altra gaiters or any other type of gaiter that you might be using that allows you to secure it in that way. This is something that was a minor gripe of mine with the 6, but I also have not been using gaiters as much as I had in the past. They are definitely beneficial and great. They're just something that I've kind of been straying away from. Altra has also kept the Ego foam midsole, which I was really happy to see. This is something that was introduced with the 5 and remained with the 6, and I was happy to see this still continue with the 7. I found the Ego midsole to be very comfortable, very soft, yet still slightly stiff and responsive. Alright, so now that we've gone over the updates, what's remained the same, what's changed, my general first impressions of the shoe are good. Quite honestly, I'm not digging the look of the shoe. Personally, I prefer the look of the Lone Peak 6. and some of the earlier versions of the shoe has more of that trail runner look to it, a little less lifestyle. Now is just something that I personally like. I'm also unsure of how I'm going to continue feeling about the removal of the drain holes. Again, as I said, I haven't been able to use this in heavy downpours out on the trail, and I look forward to seeing how the shoe truly works in those conditions. For now, it's a minor gripe of mine. I do really like the drain ports on this shoe all around the whole toe cap and along the medial side of the shoe. So we'll see how this ends up comparing to this. Another minor gripe of mine that I forgot to mention in this video is with the laces. The laces on the Lone Peak 7 I've found to be shorter than the Lone Peak 6. This is something that I also noticed with the Altra Olympus 5 compared to the Altra Olympus 4. Even though the laces are shorter on the shoe, I was still able to do a runner's knot. I was still able to double knot if I wanted to, or go up into the last eyelet on each side. That is something that I found very difficult with the Olympus 5. First impressions with things that I like. I really love the reinforced heel cup and the toe guard that has been placed in the shoe. I'm loving this updated tread pattern so far on the outsole of the shoe. The stickier rubber, definitely noticeable and something that I appreciate so far. The seamless upper I'm really digging, and I love the softer, more flexible, more spacious fit to the shoe, and I look forward again to seeing how this is going to hold up throughout many more miles. With that said, the Lone Peak is still my go-to and favorite shoe. I do prefer the 6 at the moment to the 7, and I have a couple of pairs of these as backup just in case. One of my favorite versions of this shoe, and as I mentioned, 650 miles so far with the Lone Peak 6. Hey everyone, Matt here from the future. Apparently the cold did affect my camera eventually, and it cut out the rest of this video. So to close things out, despite my minor gripes with this shoe holds a lot of promise, and I'm really excited and looking forward to using it and getting a lot more mileage in with it in varying conditions. And also sharing a follow-up video with all of you once I am able to do that with this shoe. If you have any questions about this shoe or any other shoes or gear in my videos, please feel free to leave them in a comment below, or you can contact me at reachyoursummit.net. If you are a big Lone Peak fan, or you've been using something else over the years that works really well for you, leave that feedback in a comment below. I'd love to hear what you're using and how it's been working out for you. If you like this video, hit the like button and consider subscribing to this channel because I'm always adding new content to it. I've had some great feedback from all of you over the last few years with my Altra Lone Peak and Altra footwear videos, so thank you. I greatly appreciate all of you, and I'm glad that you found these videos helpful. I really enjoy putting these together for all of you. I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and until the next one, I'll see you on the trail.